So, it's the next morning. I got a lot done.
On my last two episodes, I designed the UI for my new website, as well as started development on the menu and the About page. In this one, I'm going to work on the mobile version of that menu, get started on the homepage, and probably get overwhelmed along the way. So far,
I got 2 of the 5 pages finished, but as I'm going through, I'm starting to get a bit overwhelmed with how the mobile version is going to go. There's a lot of styles that are also going to be completely different than the mobile version, so that's going to be a bit of a doozy to figure out. But I'm trying not to get too caught up in that. I'm trying to just focus on the few pages I'm on now, and then put that off for the future so that I can hate myself then. And to show you how much I've got done, this is where the site's at right now. I got the About page, I got the whole menu with the black highlight for the selected page, which wasn't there before I got started with these. So this About page is working nicely, and the Hi page as well, which you can see pretty much lines up with the UI design here. There's a few changes that I might make, such as justifying this to the top right or not. Right now I'm kind of liking it to the center, but I might adjust the margins so it doesn't kind of feel a little off. But yeah, menu, at least on the desktop version, is pretty much done. These 2 pages are done. The rest of the pages are still kind of funny because they all display below the menu and not next to it, because I haven't adjusted the code for the new menu. So for now, any photo gallery I click on, it shows up down here. And same with something like the music page, it all comes down here. So that's a ton of work in progress. Plus, this is not exactly looking the way I want it to look in the final version for mobile. So to kind of show you, if I stick it in mobile view, this is what comes up. Doesn't look bad, but this is nothing like how I want the mobile design to be, where it basically takes up the full screen and has some clear buttons that you can click easily with your thumb. So at some point I will have to worry about that, as well as re-implementing the logic to open and close the menu on mobile, instead of the desktop version where it's just always open. So that's where I am now. I think before I get too deep into rewriting all the pages, I'm going to first fix the menu on mobile first, since that's going to show up on all the pages and play a role in how those pages are also going to have to respond to being resized to mobile. So I'm going to work on that now.
Do I really think that I am at my best? This peak I will descend.
So I'm stuck on the mobile menu. In the designs, I basically have 2 boxes at the top when it's collapsed. One with the name and subtitle, and the other part acting as a big menu button. And I've got that running in the live code. However, I'm struggling with the CSS styling to get them to center correctly. I have them existing, and I have the drop-down menu, which is not coded for the mobile version yet, but it works. But this is becoming, I've spent half an hour now just trying to get the top menu icon centered. I think I'm just going to delete what I have, all the styles right now, and rewrite them from the ground up, just so I don't have any extra styles causing issues. I can be 100% sure I'm just running these few lines of code. Why won't you work?
Do I really think that I am at my best? This peak I will descend.
So I'm still stuck on the mobile menu, and at this point I'm really trying to get a better picture of what's going on. Essentially what I've got going on for the basically the header of the navigation is this block of code right here. I have one for which I'm using class, for which I'm using class. Wait, I've got an idea. Now, let me try that again. I have one container for which I'm using the class name nav header as the main box, Inside that I have nav title container and the menu button. So nav header is the overall rectangle at the top, nav title container is the left part, and the menu button is the right part. And then within the nav title container, I have the nav title and the subtitle right above each other. And so at this point I've gone through in the code here, you can see there's a bunch of colors. And when I put those colors in, this is what I see. Nav title container with the red outline is looking pretty much what I expect it to look like, but menu is not. Menu is actually restricting the size of the border to the size of the words themselves. So I need to figure out how to push that all the way to fit the exact square. And then additionally, it looks like nav subtitle is not taking up the full height. Both nav title and nav subtitle are just taking up the height of the words themselves. And I want that to fill out the full box, it'll center it better. And I'm thinking about having it fill out the full box, or at least adding margins on the top and bottom that pull it symmetrically into the middle. This is becoming a really big pain. Doesn't match the UI design perfectly yet, as in the type of font I'm using, the exact spacing, but it lines up. It doesn't look half bad. Alright, time to build the rest of the site. Okay, I totally forgot to build the rest of the menu. I kind of got so lost, and I think I've sunk an hour now into centering out the top of the menu, the title and the button, that I forgot that the rest of the menu is all the buttons underneath. So right now with this behavior, it looks nice until you try and open the menu. And then you got this. Not exactly the user experience I want to have. So now the goal is to get the menu when open to look like this. I might use this version where I'm just going to use a Gaussian blur in the background. Either way, it's the same design, it just changes the background property from background white to putting a Gaussian blur and leaving the background image of the actual content. So either way, I need to lay this out. I need to go into the styles of each of these link divs and adjust the width and the sizing to take up the full screen. So I'll be going and adding more breakpoints because you can never have too many breakpoints. And it continues. Finally got the menu working. So next step is to fix this home page so that it looks like this home page. Since my home page looks like that, and not exactly anything like that, this is one of those pages that it's much more difficult because I'm going to be building it for the first time instead of rebuilding it or reorganizing as I have been the rest of the pages. And so with that, I'm going to begin.
Do I really think that I am at my best? This peak I will descend.
So I've got the skeleton of the homepage built out, but I'm running into everyone's favorite issue, CSS. I have a horizontal scroll bar here. It's really minute, but it looks like one of these elements, according to this, the very top, is going a little too wide, which has been really frustrating. According to my calculation, since I have the menu and the little margin next to it, totaling 250 pixels, I'm setting the width of everything to the right as 100% of the width minus those 250 pixels, which according to my calculations should make the right side of the screen right now 1,136 pixels. However, this element and a lot of this right screen is coming out to a width of 1,151, creating the horizontal scroll bar. So I just gotta figure out what's going wrong here. So I've narrowed down the bug that I'm having on the home page. It seems that the image width that I'm putting to these projects is fine, but something about the text I'm putting underneath, even though the text is not as wide as the image, is somehow causing the horizontal scroll bar. So, like for example, this looks fine. There's no horizontal scroll bar here. But the moment I comment this text back in, watch that. Scroll bars. And then if I take it back out, look at that. So something about the declaration of that width, which I've now put in as the same width as the image. So I'm going to take a look at that. Oh, perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. This just gets better and better. I don't understand where this is coming from. So I'm just going to try putting a really short arbitrary length of like 100 pixels. I wonder if somehow the way I've calculated the width for the projects themselves is causing issues. So if I forget about the margins on the side, and I just make the width of each image a third, since I'm using 3 wide, a third of the width of the section, I'm still seeing an image that causes the bar. So I guess the calculation of me cutting that into a third is not working. But yet, at the same time, if I do something extreme, like make these widths much less than a third, I still get a big area on the right and a scroll bar. Look at that. Scroll bar.
In the same conversation makes me feel like I'm growing old. Even in this situation, there's nothing that can keep me home.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't understand. I think I got it. Since the page is structured with a nav bar with a menu that has a width of 250 pixels and the rest of the content on the right of that, all the content on the right of it, I've been adding a margin left of 250 pixels. If I change it to padding left of 250 pixels, it went away. Okay, let me bring everything back and see if it's truly still gone.
Tell me why I keep on fighting. I'll just break my fall on you again. Tell me why
That was not it. I don't know why. I think for now I'm just gonna put a band-aid solution. Make the width of the content a little smaller than I wanted it to be, so at least it won't stretch out of bounds. Not sure what else to do right now, and this is taking up too much time. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna do that for now. Save my time and fix it later if I fix it later once I've actually built out the rest of the site. That was not fun.
conversation makes me feel like I'm throwing up back.
Alright, so I just spent the past few hours tweaking a few details. I fixed some of the fonts so that all the fonts match the UI designs much better. So you can see here I have the live homepage and the wireframes I originally mocked up and got them pretty spot on. There's still a few differences that I'm not too concerned with right now. And then here on the live page for now, the home page, I've got a few demo images I'm just using the same project just for the sake of laying out the homepage, but I'm going to eventually have the real projects themselves to showcase. I also spent another hour adjusting some spacing issues, even though there's still some left, but at least there's fewer than before. So here's what I got so far. Like, this is the homepage that you'll first come to, which is the feature that I want to implement as a change over the past slideshow. You're immediately presented with the featured works that you can click into. Got the About page here nicely set up, and you'll see that it also resizes nicely without any horizontal scroll bars like I was having earlier. And then I've also got this High page, which is where you can click the button that'll flash an LED that's back here physically in my room. In addition to those screens, I've also got the mobile menu and the mobile About page done. So you can see here, this is what the mobile menu behavior is looking like right now. You get your links that you can open and close. And right now the background of that is white, opaque white, but I think I'm going to change it to a Gaussian blur because I like the dimension that adds instead of just being flat grid. I'm also thinking about making the font smaller with my name so it fits in one line, and possibly getting rid of the subtitle because I think it's just too much text going on that it's not really necessary. And if I do add a Gaussian blur behind the header here, I'm going to add it behind all the links. And then this is the About page, which flows pretty nicely. So I think the main thing I'm going to work on next, before I leave this mobile menu, is at least clean up some of the details. So getting rid of the subtitle, finding a way to maybe making the text smaller with my name so it no longer wraps. And you can actually see here, a lot of these links are not vertically aligned within their divs. So I need to figure out what's going wrong with that. Again, like spacing issues with the links at the very bottom. So little details like that, I want to iron those out before I move on. But next, I'm probably going to work on my home page because I just finished building that on desktop, which we can see here again. The moment you flip it to mobile, it's broken. So that'll probably be the next thing I work on. But I'm making good progress. But the more I work on this project, the more I'm rethinking some of this design. When I first made these wireframes, which are still not fully complete, so you can see a few blank screens, I was really focused on like a bit of a minimal, brutal look. Just simple grids and lines to separate the links in the menu and make sure there's no overlapping content. But the part where I'm not really happy is the mobile menu. This design here is what I've currently got implemented. And you can see like this is a mock-up of what it would look like with the Gaussian blur. I think I like that better. But even more, I think I'm starting to like the original idea that I had with this. To keep things a little bit more aligned to the left to kind of match the desktop view better. So I think I might see what that looks like, or even look into redesigning the whole mobile menu because I'm not sure how happy I am with the grid layout. I'm not sure how intuitive it is for someone opening the menu for the first time on their phone. So as much as I'm trying to make it really artful and make it a more creative website than your average commercialized website, I am trying my best to factor in good UX design so that it's a usable site and it's not something that people will leave first moment they open it because it's so unintuitive and unfamiliar to them. And that's been my challenge for a few years actually, working on these sites or working on this particular site every time I make small design changes. So I think I'm going to finish up work on some menu fixes and then get started on the homepage mobile.